Another toll charge already?
The new Freedom 96.9 wants you to win Lee Matthews money. Listen for the keywords weekdays at 720, 420, 520, and 620 for a chance to win $1,000.
There's an idea.
The new Freedom 96.9. Freedom
Weather.
Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast. Today, expect cloudy skies and breezy conditions with the possibility of a thunderstorm later in the afternoon, reaching a high of 76. Tonight will remain cloudy and breezy with a few showers and a chance of another thunderstorm with a low of 64. Tomorrow morning, anticipate a couple of showers and a strong thunderstorm, followed by mainly cloudy, breezy, and humid weather. Thunderstorms may be severe with hail and damaging winds possible as temperatures reach a high of 76. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station. The new Freedom 96.9, Oklahoma's talk radio.
Broadcasting live from the command center of Freedom 96.9 in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma. Saving lives, protecting property, fortifying Oklahoma one roof at a time. I'm Rick Allen Lippert here with Hague Certified Master Level Damage Inspector, Oklahoma Licensed Public Adjuster, Fortified Evaluator, and IBHS Fortified Roofing Contractor, Scott McCullum.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Rick.
Hague Certified Wind and Commercial Roofing Inspector Scotty McCullum is also here.
About
Good morning,
time he
Rick.
came back.
Well, it's been a little while.
Retro Radio Randy running the show again today, and he is still on probation.
Hey.
Down, boy. Down, boy. You can talk to him, though. You can hear his voice when you call 405-608-4377.
I just love to hear him cry.
Yeah. You, quit crying or I'll nail your other foot to the floor.
Aye.
We're live streaming today on the YouTube channel, and we're streaming the audio on freedom969.com, and we're waving to you over there. And we'll start as usual with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits, including the word of the week. The number again to answer the trivia question or to just ask a question, 405-608-4377. Later, we'll hear Scotty's view from the rooftop, and we'll have some after-the-storm tips. Well, actually, today, I guess it's probably going to be before the storm, given the weather that's coming in.
It's one or the other.
One or the other. Take your pick.
All of the above.
That's brought to you by Roof RX, and we'll wrap up with Dad's Wisdom. And then coming back from breaks, some outrageously obscure historical trivia. Hey, guys, I filed my income tax extension this week and received the confirmation email.
You procrastinator.
That included, remember to say that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. So now the IRS.
I was going to say, now I know how the IRS finally caught up with me. Now I know.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. What's our trivia question this week?
All right, here we go. This is a tough one. What roof deficiency is most often cited in a Roof RX truth document? That's our inspection. After the inspection, A, installation, B, ventilation, C, flashing, or D, improper repair or maintenance?
All right. If you think you know the answer to that, 405-608-4377. What deficiency is most often cited in a Roof RX truth document after they inspect your roof? Is it A, installation, B, ventilation, C, flashing, or D, improper repair or maintenance? 405-608-4377. The winner will get their choice of 2 books, Raving Fans or Unreasonable Hospitality.
Either or now.
It's either or. Yeah. That's a choice. Choice of books. Or a third choice, 2 free tickets to any Carpenter Square Theater production the rest of this season. And I will tell you that we opened a show last night called Violet Sharp. Mm-hmm. She was a servant in the domestic in the household of where the Charles Lindbergh baby was kidnapped. Mm-hmm. So if you know anything about that history, it's a tragic story. So this is not a happy, feel-good comedy.
So was it as dark as you thought it was going to be?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
It's a dark play.
Yeah,
it's,
gotcha.
it's even lit that way. It's a very dark play.
Gotcha.
But it's an excellent production. Oh my goodness! But we have 2 more shows this season that are both comedies, dark comedies.
So one of the things I bet you don't have 4 or 5 actors playing 50 roles in that
In
production.
this one, although we do have one actor who plays 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They're 4. Well, 2 of the roles are really small,
Right.
and then 2 of the roles are a little large. Maybe 3 of the roles are.
Gotcha.
I mean, so
Yeah.
And anyway, 405-608-4377. What is the roof deficiency most often cited in a Roof RX truth document after the inspection? Installation, ventilation, flashing, or improper repair or maintenance. All right, guys. What's the word of the week? Or do you want to do that right now?
It is.
Well, hold on. Let's see. We've got somebody on the phone already. Why don't we see?
Well, we don't know.
Randy
who it is
can't
yet.
hear him. If they're talking, he can't hear him.
He's trying.
But we'll
he's reaching for it.
proceed. I can share
Okay, he's got him now. He's got
okay.
he's
Daryl.
got Darren on there. Let's give Darren a shot.
Daryl.
Daryl.
Daryl,
All right,
okay.
Daryl.
Yes.
What's your best guess here?
I'm going to guess D.
Oh,
What
man.
did you say?
D is in dog.
Oh, D is in
Oh,
dog.
the improper
That was
repair.
a dog of an answer, Daryl.
Oh, Daryl, too
boy.
bad.
Hey, Scotty, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Daryl, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great, bud.
It's great to hear from you. Thanks for
Good
calling
to hear
in.
from you, bud. Not a problem, buddy.
I hope you enjoy your weekend. And if you have anything roof related to talk about while you're on the line, feel free.
Well, I just want to get mine fortified.
There
Yeah,
you go.
well,
man.
that's a good step
There
to
you
take.
go. I tell you what, Daryl, that the attitude, that's what I talk to people all the time. We've got to change our attitudes. We can't just keep doing what we've always done. And, we're working hard on that. We appreciate you buying into that thought process and mentality because I guarantee you these fortified roofs are unbelievable. So excited about making that the reality of how we build roofs in Oklahoma.
Sounds good. Well, I know your son, and he's a very good man. I've always enjoyed our conversation.
Man, I seldom hear that about Scotty, so I'm so glad to hear that from you, Daryl. No, he is the best representative of our company and our family that there is by far. So
Well, you need to be proud of him. He's a very good young man.
we are. Thank you, Daryl. Have a good weekend.
And you as well.
Talk
Be
to you
blessed.
soon, Daryl.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So thank you, Daryl. For those of you who may have just tuned in, we're asking a trivia question. Now has 3 choices. What roof deficiency is most often cited in a Roof RX truth document after their inspection? Installation, ventilation, or flashing? We're looking for the roof deficiency most often cited.
Right.
And if you're a regular listener to this show, this is low-hanging fruit for you, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but I'm hoping somebody gets in here before Benny.
Yeah.
I'm running out of stamps and stuff to send him his. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Scotty, you were going to tell us the word of the week?
Yeah.
I still am.
Okay.
It's balance.
Balance.
Balance, yes.
Ooh.
And balance pertains to a lot of areas of life, Rick, but this week's version of balance has to do with ventilation.
Okay.
And balanced intake, or I should say balanced ventilation, has a lot to do with the balance between intake coming into fresh air, coming into your attic space, and the air that's exhausting through
Intake and
whatever
exhaust.
form of vent you have on the rooftop.
That relationship between intake and exhaust.
Correct.
There has to be air flowing.
Exactly. And balance really just it denotes equal intake to exhaust ratio, but in some cases it's also good to have more intake than you do exhaust. I don't know what the conditions are for that to be necessary, but Scott can talk to us because he's the ventilation wizard, of course.
So really, Bernoulli says that, the whole idea
Right. Yeah.
is ventilation equal to or greater than exhaust.
Okay.
So if you take that and kind of play it out, ideally we're trying to get to that balance, that 50-50, but it typically is not going to work out perfectly. There is one scenario, I'll draw that out for you in a minute with words, obviously. But greater than or equal to exhaust. So you have to have that intake to give that push to force that air up from your soffit vents, your intake vents, up to the highest levels of the roof and exhaust out the top.
Right. Okay.
So that's what that principle is.
Would the proper word for that be pressure?
Pressure
that you're building up?
That's So anyway, we're pushing that air out of the top. If you had a simple gable roof, all right, just one ridge, a simple gable roof, no hips, valleys, anything, just a simple gable, that's the easiest way to depict for you what balanced attic ventilation system would be. We would install our ridge vent at the top of that ridge, and at the bottom of that, on both sides of that gable, down at the eave, we would install intake vent. The reason that you have twice as much intake vent as you have ridge vent is that the intake vent intakes exactly half per linear foot what the ridge vent exhausts.
Okay.
So if you take 2 times 1/2 equals 1 intake equals 1 exhaust per linear foot. That's the way, that is the perfectly balanced attic ventilation system. It is not very easily accomplished in most roof scenarios.
Well, the way they build houses these days, they build them so steep, the roof's so steep with so much segmentation of the different facets of a house or any building, and the attic spaces. There's different attic spaces that are disjointed. They're closed off from each other, and the geometry of the structures is just not conducive to. I mean, it makes our lives hard to design a balanced. Perfectly balanced intake to exhaust ratio.
Is this because architects, when they're in school, are not taught the proper design formula
For ventilation?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to architectural school.
I don't think that ventilation enters anywhere into that. I think that is simply designing what they think people want to see, drawing that roof plane out, and it's somebody else's problem to figure out how they're going to ventilate that.
Okay, we have Chad on the line wanting to take a shot at the trivia question. Chad, let me restate it for the folks who just tuned in. What roof deficiency is most often cited in a Roof RX Truth document? Installation, ventilation, or flashing?
I'm going to go with ventilation. You guys are talking a lot about ventilation.
You're a smart man, Chad.
Way to go, Chad.
That was a good
Way
try.
to go, Chad.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for playing the game. Do you have another question in the minute we have left? Actually, we're out of time. So if you have a question, hang on.
No, you guys are good. I appreciate it.
All right. Stay on the line so Randy can get your digits, and we'll send you the appropriate prize.
We'll talk a little bit more about ventilation in just a minute, Chad.
Thank you.
All right. But first, we're going to take our first break. We'll be back talking about the week that these guys had. You're listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9. He's Scott McCullum. He's Scotty McCullum. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. Retro Radio Randy pushing the knobs here. We will be back for the rest of the show in just a flash. Stay tuned.
Every property owner knows the pain of rising insurance costs, higher premiums, higher deductibles, and more exclusions than ever before. You may have even received a non-renewal notice or a letter stating your roof no longer meets our underwriting requirements and your policy will be canceled in 30 days. You don't know the condition of your roof, you're not a roofer, but neither does the underwriter, and they're making decisions that affect your coverage. Roof RX brings clarity to where uncertainty once lived. We're not roofers looking for work. We're certified inspectors dedicated to truth and transparency. We combine state-of-the-art imaging with generations of roofing expertise to reveal the true condition of your roof and maximize its remaining life. We turn complex data into a clear prescription, what can be maintained, what needs repaired, and what needs replaced. We perform and document that work for you and your insurance carrier and provide the peace of mind of lifetime workmanship warranties and money-back guarantees. It's not about replacing roofs. It's about helping you understand the true condition of your roof, mitigate your risk, and protect your insurability. Roof RX, the prescription for your ailing roof.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air. Freedom 96.9 on this live call-in show on Saturday morning, April 11, 2026. And on this date, in 1783, you know, I like to do a lot of American history and the Revolutionary War history especially. We hear a lot about 1776 and the war starting and writing the Declaration of Independence and all of that stuff. We never hear anything about the end of the war. Well, on this date of April 11th, 1783, hostilities formally cease in the American Revolutionary War after the Continental Congress proclaimed a, quote, cessation of arms against His Britannic Majesty. Then on this date in 1898, and I bring this up just to show you that it has happened in our past, President McKinley asked Congress for a Spanish-American War declaration after Spain declared war on us. So before we went to fight, the president asked for permission.
Wow.
Yeah, it has happened.
Novel concept.
Yeah. Okay, so McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma. You were
I want to finish up on the ventilation a little bit, and thanks Chad for getting the right answer there. Scotty was describing these multifaceted, different planes, separate attics, things like that. The simple gable roof I described is one open attic.
Right.
It's one airspace. It's one breathable compartment. Okay, so it's very, very simple to accomplish that balanced attic ventilation scenario there. When you get most of the roofs that we see nowadays, they're not that way. And Scotty was mentioning that we have attics that have we have roofs that have multiple attics that are compartmentalized.
Yeah, I had a house like that.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
At one point.
So we get in this situation where the reason this is the number one deficiency that's noted is, quite honestly, it's not designed from an architect's standpoint. It is not anything that is understood from a builder. I'm talking about a residential builder standpoint.
Yeah.
There's no knowledge of the building science behind the principles. The roofing contractors, the person who's actually out there installing, particularly in new construction that is not a roofing company, someone like McRoof, that has people that have technical competency and expertise in this area. This is a roofing subcontractor, essentially, that a builder is hiring, all right?
Right.
That person that's out there installing doesn't have a clue about ventilation, all right?
They're just out there hiding nails on the roof.
That's right. So many people get, and now we're talking about replacement roofs instead of new roofs, so many people get exactly what they had before.
Right.
And when you ask the contractor, what are you going to do about my ventilation? Oh, we're just going to do it just like it is right now. You've got 4 flat vents up there. You've got 2 turbines up there. You've got whatever. Even if it's wrong, that's how we're going to do it.
I've had that.
Because they simply do not know what needs to be done. What I say to everyone and what we show people our attic ventilation calculations. We show them how we came up with that. Here's your existing intake vent, okay? We do the calculation on how much intake vent they have. Here's your existing exhaust. That's not how we want to do this. You have mixed attic ventilation types. You have different products being used in a common attic. You have areas that are separate attics that are not being addressed at all. We have to literally take and lay that out. Scotty has a roof. This is a large roof that we're working on that has 5 separate attic compartments in that house. Well, you deal with the main compartment in one manner, and you deal with the rest of them individually as the remaining segments as those segments themselves require. You can't apply this one approach of okay, let's put some ridge vent and some intake vent and we're fine. It doesn't work all the time. People do not have that understanding. To show you how big an issue this is, I reached out a couple of weeks ago to try to find an engineer anywhere in the state of Oklahoma or in North Texas who would actually take the plan that Scotty had and do the ventilation calculations for me on that segmented roof and provide that back to me with an engineer seal on it. I could not find any engineer that said that they had the expertise to do that. So I literally had to take and draw the segments out myself, calculate all of the square footages of those attics, figure out exactly what I can and cannot do to properly ventilate each one of those attics to the building code. We created a spreadsheet for the owner to be able to show him how we had done it. And at that point, he understood that someone had actually addressed all of his concerns that he's had ever since he bought the house about the ventilation on his home. So when he gets his new roof, everything will be addressed the way that it should be addressed. It's difficult, and it's not that people aren't trying. They simply don't have the expertise. If you take the vent calculators and all you do is input the square footage of your home, which is what the vent calculator asks you for, and there is no consideration given to how many attics do you have, what do they look like, what are those configurations, all that kind of thing, you're coming up with an erroneous result. It's going to tell you how many net-free feet that you need to have or inches that you need to have in a given attic, but it's going to be on that one total attic, and you may have, in this case, the 5 separate attics. The math doesn't mean anything. The vent calculators don't give you the right answers, and that's all most roofing contractors, and that's all any builder would have any degree of expertise to be able to do is use a vent calculator.
So when you're explaining this to me, I'm thinking there's a whole career opportunity out there for someone to
there
specialize
absolutely is
in this, and a degree track for universities and in designing in
that doesn't yet
schools.
Exist.
There absolutely is, and the issue. The reason ventilation is so critical, and we've talked about it for what, Rick, 15 16 years on the radio. The reason ventilation is so critical is that's the number one reason that manufacturers have to say that they're not responsible for a manufacturer's warranty claim. When a manufacturer sends someone out to evaluate a manufacturer's warranty claim, the first piece of information that they have to gather is what is the existing intake vent and what is the installed exhaust vent. And if the manufacturer says there's the issue, that's the end of the road.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, consumer, you now go back to your contractor who did not do his job, and you guys figure this out. Now, that doesn't happen very often, but it certainly can happen, and I have seen cases where that absolutely did happen, okay? The other issue about ventilation, we all think of ventilation only in terms of heat, and everyone understands that a properly ventilated attic, you're going to spend less money on air conditioning than an improperly ventilated attic. That's common sense, which, again, my dad says is the most uncommon thing in the world.
Right.
But the second part of that we don't think about, most people don't think about, is the moisture in the wintertime. And the moisture is the most detrimental thing that ever enters into a structure. You get mold, you get rot, you get structural decay, you get all kinds of things happening both inside air quality and external, and your soffits and your fascias and your rafters and everything else. Moisture is the issue in the wintertime. That's why you have to, it's the reason you get ice dams, because you don't have proper ventilation and proper insulation, okay?
And snow dams, yep.
Well, I have a question, but I'm not going to ask it now.
You mean I took up that much time?
Yeah,
Oh,
you really did. And here comes the music. We're on our way to break for the mid-break, and I will ask you this question when I get back, because it's not a yes or no question. I know better than to ask you a question that's a yes or no question. Everyone, you're listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9. Scotty McCullum. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. He's Retro Radio Randy. We'll be back with your phone calls, 405-608-4377.
I promise we're going to let Scotty talk in the second half of the show. You better be ready to dominate the second.
For the latest on the conflict in Iran, listen for the latest updates at the top and bottom of the hours. Stay informed with Oklahoma's Talk Radio, the new Freedom 96.9, freedom969.com, and on the Freedom 96.9 app. Freedom
Weather. Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast. Today, expect cloudy skies and breezy conditions with the possibility of a thunderstorm later in the afternoon, reaching a high of 76. Tonight will remain cloudy and breezy with a few showers and a chance of another thunderstorm with a low of 64. Tomorrow morning, anticipate a couple of showers and a strong thunderstorm, followed by mainly cloudy, breezy, and humid weather. Thunderstorms may be severe with hail and damaging winds possible as temperatures reach a high of 76. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station. The new Freedom 96.9, Oklahoma's Talk Radio.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the second half of this morning's live call-in show on Freedom 96.9. On this date in 1907. Now, I don't do a lot of sports trivia, but Randy, this one is for you. On this date of April 11th, 1907, New York Giants future Hall of Famer backstop Roger Bresnahan became the first catcher to wear shin guards. And Randy did not know that.
And every other catcher in the world went, thank God for that.
On this date in 1921, Iowa imposed the first cigarette tax.
Iowa.
On this date in 1945, 4 soldiers in the 6th Armored Division of the U.S. Army liberated the Nazi concentration camp Buchenwald. On this date in 1945.
Amazing.
Okay, so
4 soldiers.
4 soldiers.
So I'm assuming that means the Nazis had just
they scattered.
Vamonos.
Yeah,
Okay.
like rats on a sinking ship.
Yep.
Okay, so very quickly, since we talked about this in the break, and I teased it, I can remember as a younger man, my dad's house. I'd go up there in the summertime in the attic, and it would be just baking hot. Obviously, not enough ventilation. And as you were explaining the theory of the Bernoulli, principle, it occurred to me that if you have more exhaust than you have intake on continual basis, you'll ultimately get to a vacuum.
And that's why I say you can't have too much
Right.
intake, but you
Right.
can have too much exhaust.
Right.
That's
And
exactly right.
so that heat that builds up in the summertime, and then the moisture in the winter is devastating.
Absolutely.
But so you don't want a vacuum up there. You want air flowing.
Yep. And most people don't have a balanced attic ventilation
Right.
system, Rick. I can
Not even
tell that
close to it.
because me and Johnny, we get in a lot of attics. And it's
They're hot.
it's less than a handful
Yeah.
per year, the ones that I can count that are somewhat reasonably tolerable. I wouldn't even say comfortable.
And that's why we say this is the number one deficiency that's
Sure.
noted on the
Right.
reports, is because it is systemic. It is almost universal. Scotty, do you remember writing an assessment where ventilation was not mentioned at all? Because I've never written an assessment where it
Yes.
wasn't mentioned at all. You have? Okay.
It's rare, but it does. I do write plenty throughout the year. There are plenty that have either sprayed foam insulation. Really
Okay,
is the
okay,
is the
okay.
number one thing that negates ventilation requirements per code and per best practices.
Okay.
I mean, you're breaking the seal on something that's meant to be sealed and stay sealed.
Right.
If you did ventilate.
I have been in a spray foam sealed attic, and it was cool.
Yes. It can even have the potential to be cool in the summertime.
Yes, and this was.
Yeah.
And
It's impressive.
And the homeowner specifically took me up there. This was years ago before I started doing the radio show. But he took me up there because he had just bought this place and had his attic sealed. It was above the garage, so it was easy to seal that one space.
Yeah, and he'd lived years and years with an attic like yours,
Yes,
or like
he
your
had.
dad's.
He had, yeah.
And he just wanted to show it off.
And he did. And we went in there, and it was cooler in the attic than it was in the house.
There are issues about the foam insulation
Oh my
products
gosh.
and about the air quality and different things like
Okay.
that. So there are things people need to be aware of.
Yeah.
But the contractors will walk them through all the fresh air intake, the air exchanges, and things that are still required in that attic.
So, without getting into the nuts and bolts
Yep.
in minutia, how difficult is it to retrofit a house that has improper ventilation? Let's assume they have soffits, and
Okay.
it's theoretically possible to add additional vents in the soffits.
Well, the easiest way to do it for us, and this is to totally eliminate soffit vents as a consideration.
Okay.
That is the absolute easiest thing. It's also the most trouble-free and guarantees who owner or future owners of ever having an issue
Okay.
with their soffit vents becoming clogged.
Right.
Somebody comes and blows insulation in, closes
Exactly.
off the
Yeah.
bays. The painter
Or they get
paints. The
painted.
painter paints all
Yeah.
the vents. They've got spider webs and dirt and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. The easiest way for us is to install what we call intake vent. And that intake vent is installed at the eave, right above the gutter line, right above the drip edge. That intake vent is almost exactly the same thing as your ridge vent at the top of the roof. It is a 2-inch slot that's cut into the roof deck down at the bottom that has an intake baffle on the front. If you're standing on the ground looking up at the intake vent, you're going to see vertical baffles. That's where the air enters. That air enters, is sucked down through that slot we cut in the decking. That air hugs the bottom of the roof deck all the way out, right up to the attic vent, and is exhausted. That is the most beautiful way of doing this that we have
As a retrofit solution.
as a retrofit.
So
Yeah.
the air is, as you say, hugging the underside of the roof deck, keeping it cool. That constant movement of
Exactly.
air.
Constant, and you've got intake at the lowest point of the roof and exhaust at the highest point of the roof. It's absolutely perfect. The reason that my preferred way of ventilating a roof is always ridge vent, if I have enough dominant ridge.
Yeah.
Okay. If I can use ridge vent at the apex of the roof, that's the way I'm going to do it. Because does it make sense to drop down 2 or 3 or 4 feet from the apex of that roof and have that be where your exhaust ventilation is. That still left something, it seems to me, that could be trapped up there at the top. Now, obviously, the majority of the hot air and ventilation is going to go out if you're down at that 3 foot below the ridge level, but you're still going to have something. It's not as ideal as having it at the very apex of the roof. So.
Okay, well, Scotty, it's time for you to get up on the roof.
Now time for him to start
Hang on.
talking.
Oh, man.
There he went.
Yep.
All right, Scotty, what is the title of this week's View from the Rooftop?
The royal treatment.
The royal
Ooh,
treatment.
Wow.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Well, I have a unique opportunity to roof a piece of history.
Oh, nice.
This
Very
is a piece
nice.
of Oklahoma history. And this property is right in the heart of the city, but you wouldn't feel like that if you set foot on the property. It's got these beautiful stone fences and wrought iron gates, and it feels like you're going back in time.
Yeah.
Centuries back in time.
Yeah.
And this castle is it's meant to mimic the feel of an old world Scottish castle.
Oh.
It's limestone, shingle roof that's soon to be replaced. And when you step in to the interior of the house, and we've been doing repairs on this roof for
Years.
7-8 years or something like that, and they finally have enough damage that it needs to be replaced, and working with the insurance company on the claim right now, but soon to be scheduled. And this property was built back in the 30s by a lawyer who the street is actually named after now. and it's just it's a really cool opportunity. I'm open to questions. I don't want to give it away too much.
Don't want to give the exact location.
Yeah.
But how?
So
how
what's
ma-
the
how-
white glove treatment you're giving?
Yes.
What are you referring to?
Well, the white glove treatment I'm providing is standard McRoof treatment, I think.
Oh,
but,
thank you. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that.
But at least we get to roof a castle in the process, and that's a cool claim.
So
you know?
what is the shingle material? What's the roofing?
It will
the
be a
skin?
Certainteed Belmont shingle.
Okay.
Which is the closest comparable replacement material to what they currently have, which is an older discontinued GAF brand product, or elk really, which was acquired later in its existence by the GAF company.
Okay.
And that shingle is called Capstone.
Okay.
But yeah,
How many
and it's a
squares?
beautiful shingle. Oh, it's really because it's 3 stories with a 4-story round turret. It's really not. It's not that many squares, but it's way high up there, and it's pretty spread out for being a 3-story structure. So it's I think it's about 75 squares.
Yeah, I think I think
75 squares. But
Yeah.
that turret is going to be a heck of a deal. definitely test your metal on that one.
It's interesting Scotty mentioned turrets, because I've got to tell you, if everyone knows what a turret is.
Well, thankfully it's not a round turret. It's not a fully round
That's
turret.
what I was just getting
got,
ready.
It's got hips built into
I was just getting ready to get into,
Yeah,
is
okay.
it a round turret or is it a segmented,
It's
facet?
a segmented,
octagon.
faceted turret.
Very different. But
Well, it's about a 16-agon. I don't know what that is.
Goodness.
yeah, even with that, it still requires a lot of expertise and attention to detail.
Yeah.
Because
for
those
the roof.
segments are so short, the guys have to be very careful with how they lay the shingle out.
No kidding. Yeah.
But the round turret was a whole different deal that I was hoping he was going to tell me it was a round turret, because we get around to it.
yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take our final break for the morning. Want to remind everybody you're listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9. Last call for your call, 405-608-4377. We are live streaming on the YouTube channel, McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma, and we're live streaming the audio on Freedom 96.9. We'll be back with our last obscure historical trivia in just a minute. Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army Horse Cavalry and was stationed at Fort Bliss. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy flew a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy, on November 11, 1943, when his crew, along with 31 other bombers, destroyed a ball-bearing plant in occupied France. On a return trip, a mechanical failure caused the Yankee Doodle Dandy to drop out of formation, leaving it vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109s shot down the plane near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board, the others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 23 years of service with many awards and commendations, including the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Purple Heart, and multiple air medals. Homer Stacy McCollum, Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof.us is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to fortify your property, call McRoof.us at 405-877-4663. Ask for your complimentary roof inspection performed by a credentialed Hague residential inspector. McRoof.us, saving lives and protecting property by fortifying Oklahoma, one roof at a time. McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the final segment of this morning's live show on Freedom 96.9. On this date in 1961, my good friend Bob Dylan made his first appearance at Folk City in Greenwich Village, New York City. On this date in 1970, hey, did you guys watch the splashdown yesterday? Yeah. Wasn't that wonderful?
Cool.
So
oh my God!
I saw a replay of it.
On this date in 1970, Apollo 13 launched to go to the moon, but they were unable to land on the moon, and they returned 6 days later.
Cool.
I think that's where Tom. That's
Cool.
when Tom Hanks was on that flight, and he said, "Houston, we have a problem."
Yeah.
And then finally, on this date in 1976, the Apple I computer was created by Steve Wozniak. Now, Steve Jobs got all the headlines, but Steve Wozniak was actually the nerd who put it all together.
Wow.
and the world.
That's often how it works.
Yeah, isn't it though? Okay, so last segment, Scott, you said you wanted to talk about Fortified.
Oh, I just we built fortified roofs last week and did a number of bids for grant applicants last week. So really, excited about that. I think we're kind of moving the dial a little bit in terms of, seems like there's a little bit of momentum for that. And I think that people are obviously hearing about Fortified in a different way. I know we talked to Daryl earlier, and he wants to get his fortified roof, that kind of thing. So we're moving in the right direction. I think that there's a lot of things about that program that are really, really, really exciting right now. And we're doing a lot in the way of training our crews. Our crews are oh my gosh, I mean, they are so proficient at installing Fortified. We have the city.
These guys are, I have to say, these guys are meticulous.
They are.
Good.
They are.
The crew lead, he drives a hard whip. And cracks a hard whip, drives a hard line. Getting those sayings mixed up, but Enrique is, and these guys, they're so respectful to our clients. They care about the roofs like they're their roofs.
Right. Yeah, we're closer to where
they're craftsmen.
We're closer to where we've wanted to be always from a production standpoint than we've ever been. I think Scotty and everyone else recognize that. One of the things I wanted to talk about though, and Benny's on the line. Benny, you can jump. Benny, you can jump in after I ask Scotty a question. I want Scotty to clarify something for the listening audience, and then Benny will, I'm sure, pipe in. What Scotty's talking about, his excitement about getting to redo this historic castle We talk sometimes about, a large roof that's unique or something like that. I want Scotty to make sure that everyone understands what he understands is we're not about roofs. We're about the people that live under our roofs.
Yep. And this lady, her as of recent, her late husband, I had a great relationship with him and both of them, and I'm obviously taking care of her as if he were still here because she relies on our expertise. She relies on our relationship and the trust that she's placed in us for years. So it's an honor to be able to handle their case and really bring it full circle when we just started with doing some simple repairs back, a handful and a half of years ago.
Yeah. And Daryl, gave a pat on the back to Scotty. This is the same thing. This is an affirmation and a pat on the back for Scotty and for our team and for his mother and his sister and the people that handhold all of our clients the way that they do. That's who McRoof is. You want someone who's about taking care of you and understanding your needs and valuing that relationship with you as a human being, then that's what McRoof is. Don't look at McRoof as just a roofing company that's going to come out and nail shingles and give you just what you've always gotten, because that's not who we are.
And I have to say, that approach is not for everybody, clearly. Some
That's
people
right.
want exactly what he just said,
Right.
is I want what I had before. I
Right.
don't want to know how much the options to upgrade are going to cost me because I'm not interested. I just want to put it back like it was. And I really don't care about you much other than I'm going to give you these checks. I'm going to give you these checks and you're going to get on down the road.
Transaction. And Scotty and I were having a conversation at breakfast this morning.
And that's not
about,
right or wrong. It's just what people, what
Scotty and I were having a
personal preference.
Conversation at breakfast this morning about that kind of that moral obligation, that duty that we feel. And we were talking about, it bothers me that, just like it used to bother me if we sold someone a roof that wasn't IR. Okay, now it bothers me.
Impact resistant.
Now it bothers me if we sell someone a roof that's not fortified.
Right.
And it certainly bothers me if we sell someone a roof that's not fortified and we don't even get them to allow us to upgrade their deck attachment and their edge protection. Because those are things that the time to do that is when the roof is torn off.
Right.
It will never be less expensive. It's your opportunity to build that protection that will save lives, protect property, and mitigate risk. And we feel a duty to do that.
All right. Well, let's go to Benny on the line for a comment and a question. Hello, Benny.
Well,
Hey,
now I
Benny.
got two questions.
Well-
Scott opened the door for it.
Well, and let me just tell you that your ticket voucher to Carpenter Square Theater is in the mail.
Super. Okay, comment. I think every member of your family, having met and interacted with all of you a number of times, are all equally excellent ambassadors for the McRoof family, the McRoof company, and the concept of do it right.
Except for me, Benny.
No, I said all. All. You founded this operation, buddy.
God bless you,
Yes,
Benny.
he did.
Well, you and Wanda.
Yeah.
So, okay, my question is, I know that the roof inspection, drone inspection has been kind of paused because of the winds, but I'm curious as to when mine will get done. And my second question is, since you opened the ball about fortified, can I find my way into a redo?
I don't think you really want that, Benny.
Depends on
a tongue-in-cheek question.
depends on how big a check you want to write.
Exactly. Yeah.
You said anything about a check?
I would say that the chances of your roof getting flown this week are probably pretty slim. I mean, I'm not going to say that it won't happen.
Michael should have an answer on that, I think.
Yeah, we can get you an answer.
I'm writing a note for you.
I don't
Benny.
know the answer.
Okay.
We'll get you the answer.
Super.
First of all, we don't want to fly your roof when it's wet. Okay.
No.
We want to fly it when it's dry, so we're not getting shadows or anomalies.
And
that we-
reflection and
Yep, yep. So that's number one, and then number two is what the winds are going to do this week and what that's.
oh
gonna
yeah,
allow.
that's
So
your
it will-
subject to the whims of the wind.
Yeah. Now I don't know when's the weather supposed to come in this afternoon. Does anybody know?
No
This
idea.
evening,
I
later
think
this
they have
afternoon,
yours
this
tonight.
evening, and then overnight.
Yeah, well, I might send Michael a text when I leave here in about 30 minutes or 10 minutes.
It's not
or whatever.
urgent. I
Well,
just
no,
like to get
I know, but
especially since we had a bit of a hail event
yeah,
over
well,
here.
you-
It wasn't
you-
big, about quarter size.
you don't have you don't
Yeah,
have
we've seen your roof last indoor baseball and up to softball size hailstones.
You
Benny.
don't have a hail mark on your roof. I'll guarantee you that without seeing it. And if I'm wrong, I'll tear your roof off and rebuild it.
With Fortified.
I think that's a safe statement for you to make, my friend.
I think it is too.
But I swear my addition must have a different roofing company sign for every street in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has to do with this insurance company saying about roofs and no, not rewrites or downgrading to ACVs or whatever's going on, but there's a whole lot of roofing going on in this edition.
I bet there is, because
And
very
I'm only
few people put on a
patrolling
Class 4 roof like you did.
part of it, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just there's no urgency to it. I just like to get an idea.
We'll
so
get
I
you, we'll
can,
get you an
have-
answer.
We'll get you an answer by Monday.
And I don't even know what the approximate cost for my square footage of roof is.
Hey, Benny, we got to go.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
$45,000.
I'll give you a check that's good anywhere in the country. Just don't take it to town.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Thank you, Benny.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Benny. Hey, I have to say one more time that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. Hey, you have something coming up in San Antonio.
Yeah, I'll
pretty
be in
soon.
San Antonio next week with Avery Smith and with Brad Sawyer, with Marsh McLennan, and with Tom Little from floodproofing.com. We're going to be down there at the South Central Climate Resiliency Forum on a panel presentation for that group, and really excited to be doing that. We'll be talking about saving lives, protecting property, and mitigating risk by hardening our environment before the storm.
Okay. Oh, speaking of before the storm, let's squeeze that in here in the minute we have left.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Get your roof inspected.
There you
There you go.
You got to know how it is before the storm if you want to know how it is and to be able to compare how it is after the storm.
Yep.
So if you
Before
want-
or after the storm, the starting place is the same.
Yeah.
It is a qualified roof inspection. Yep.
Baseline inspection.
And you can get that qualified roof inspection from roof-rx.com. You can call them at 405-877-4ROOF.
And I believe the new placeholder website is up as of last night. I did not check it, but I was told that it is.
Okay.
That is, there's actually, the form is on the website for you to be able to fill out to request your inspection right
good.
there on the website.
Good.
Yep.
Same website?
Yep.
Roof-rx.com.
Correct.
So we have weather moving in this week.
We do have.
So a lot
We
of
do.
indoor work, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll be doing.
We'll see.
We've got.
I thought so last week, too.
We have a roof scheduled that will go ahead and deliver materials, because if we don't, and then we find out we could have built a roof, we won't have any materials. And then if we wanted to try to deliver materials Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, we don't have a place on the schedule. So we're going to go ahead and deliver it Monday regardless. So we will be prepared and ready to go. We're going to work on some repairs that we can work in between the storms and the weather. We're going to do some training. We're going to do some work in the warehouse and out on our driveway, cleaning up our
Shingle yard.
Yeah, shingle yard. Yep.
All right. Well, this has been episode number 54 of McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9. Dad's Wisdom.
You can't sell values to a man who doesn't have any.
Truer words never spoken. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. Thank you.
QOB Enid, Oklahoma City. 2026, a celebration of freedom